just annoys me when players are just out of position. But like, I understand why Arsenal committed so many bodies, but that's what they faced today, and it was disappointing on their side.
Was that a late let-off for Chelsea?
Very much so. You know, I'm there thinking, Timber! And I'm like, all of a sudden, it's like, you better move. Like, you know, I need to be the guy coming on the pitch and attacking this thing, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, just move out the way.
But Gyökeres is sometimes too nice, I think. He'd
have been fuming. He'd have been fuming about that. Of
Yeah.
course, you're going home thinking to yourself, I want to say something to him, you know, but you know what? he was in my spot. And at the end of the day, he got the leap, he had the power, the connection was all off.
Mikel, that was a true red-blooded derby. 2 points dropped, but a 5-point cushion. How do you look at that ultimately as the coach?
Yeah, it was, as you said, a very intense match. We expected that, what it was at stake, the profile on the players and the two teams that in the moment that we are in and the way we play. The game had a lot of things happening, very hectic at times. Then the red card that changes the game, a little bit the context. But straight after the halftime, they have the opportunity to put the ball in the box. One wide free kick, one corner, they score the goal. And momentum shifts again. And this comes after a period of 5 days where we played two of the best teams, very emotional and physical games as well, and with certain injuries, and we have to overcome that situation. And we scored the equalizer. We didn't manage to score the winner. We are very disappointed too. But I think overall, what the team has done this week, it's very impressive.
A lot of focus on what Declan Rice did in the Champions League in midweek, but Mikel Merino has been so vital to so many of your performances. When you see a tackle like that, and he has said he did feel his ankle cave in, but he said luckily he's got quite flexible joints. How concerned are you? Are you sure that was a red card? And then how vital he is with that finish as well?
Yeah, when it happened, I could not tell because of the angle that I was in, but straight away you could tell by the reaction of especially the players on the bench when they saw it that it was a red, and after obviously looking at it, I think it is a red card.
And of course, an enforced change, already losing Gabriel, then losing Saliba, but Nketiah and Mascara, the way that he sort of got Nketiah to calm down when he was reacting as well. This is a really strong partnership that been thrown into the fire on occasions, and while the set piece was conceded for the goal, how well did they, nearly coming back with a goal at the end. What a match to really come in as a partnership.
Yeah, and it happened yesterday as well. So, we have to adapt to it. As you said, they never played together. We need to build those relationships again. A lot of things happened in the last period, but the team responds again.
Have you been surprised by Merino's goal output and sort of how much of an attacking threat he is for Arsenal?
Yeah, it surprised me. It really did, because I don't see him as that player. I really didn't. When he came to the club, I felt he was more of a player that would be controlling in a deeper role. And I think it's like what Mikel's done to Kai Havertz, who we don't see too often, kind of developed into a different player. He's done the same thing here.
It's interesting now, Theo, isn't it? Because if Gyökeres is fit, if Havertz is on his way back fit, Gabriel Jesus back on the bench today, where does Merino fit into this team?
I think he's more trusted in the big games. I do. I think he's a player that you know what you're going to get. You know exactly the kind of game you're going to face. And he's got so much more experience in these games. I think Gyökeres will be more an impact player in the big games.
Yeah.
I do. I really do see that now. I just think he trusts him a lot more. And I think Gyökeres will probably do him a lot of good just to visually watch on the outside. Yeah, if he wanted to play, I understand that. However, I think he'll learn a lot from what Marino does and try and change his game a little bit.
So you think he would be starting Marino ahead of Gyökeres?
I can see that happening a lot more often than,
If Gyökeres is fit, if Havertz is on his way back fit, Gabriel Jesus back on the bench today, where does Merino fit into this team?
I think he's more trusted in the big games. I do. I think he's a player that you know what you're going to get. You know exactly the kind of game you're going to face. And he's got so much more experience in these games. I think Gyökeres will be more an impact player in the big games.
Yeah.
I do. I really do see that now. I just think he trusts him a lot more. And I think Gyökeres will probably do him a lot of good just to visually watch on the outside. Yeah, if he wanted to play, I understand that. However, I think he'll learn a lot from what Marino does and try and change his game a little bit.
So you think he would be starting Marino ahead of Gyökeres?
I can see that happening a lot more often than,
You agree?
No.
I don't know. I don't, because they've been crying out for a striker.
Yeah.
So, I think Marino brings that stability in there. He brings that extra defensive body, almost like a false nine, but they've been searching for that goal scorer, man. That's why they spent that money. You need to have that brother on the pitch. If he's fit and firing, you got to have him out there, because I do agree with you that Merino gives them a different kind of problem for the opposition. But you need your big hitters out there, man. And Gyökeres was bought to provide goals in big moments. That's what he was there for. That's why I was saying he's fuming with Timber.
So what if Havertz is fit then? Who's starting then?
That's Arteta's job, isn't it?
Is it unfair, Daniel, to say that Arsenal might have gambled a little bit more in pursuit of that winning goal?
I think that going back to maybe our careers, being on the pitch playing against 10 men, right? It's a gift and a curse, because you're expected to win. You feel like, OK, it's our day now. We were going up against 10 men. But in a way, it can be more difficult, because you either are calm and patient, which is what Arsenal were today, but then there's not that intensity to speed things up. And you talk about 8 shots, you would expect there to be more shots. But there are far less shots up from outside the box nowadays than there were when we were playing. So maybe people would have been taking longer range shots. Whereas now it's more of a methodical approach, in that this is our way of playing. We're going to play it wide, we're going to have overlaps, we're going to make, 1-2s, this, that and the third, and try and break you down in the way we would break down the mannequins in training, effectively. So, yes, you could argue that Arsenal should have maybe thrown a little bit more at them and gone a bit more gung-ho, but as the manager said in the press conference, it's that in transition, Chelsea were still dangerous, and Robert Sanchez was really good on those crosses, coming to collect them and throwing them out. But I would have anticipated Arsenal to create more chances within that, in open play, for sure.
But